I'm an Uber driver. A man got in my car and said, drive anywhere. I'll pay you $200 an hour to keep driving until I tell you to stop. I drove for 7 hours. He said 3 sentences the entire time. On a Tuesday night, a well-dressed man in his late 50s got into my back seat. Charcoal suit, polished shoes, expensive watch. He sat down and did not enter a destination. He pulled an envelope from his jacket, counted out $1,500 bills, held them out. I'll pay you $200 an hour in cash. Drive anywhere. I just need to be in motion. I'll tell you when to stop. I should have refused. I have a wife and 2 kids at home. I took the money. I started driving. Something in his voice was not threatening. It was empty. The voice of a man who had finished the part of his life where things could be argued with. I drove out of the city. County roads, streetlights thinned, headlights became the only light source for miles. For 5 hours he did not speak, not one word. He sat with his hands in his lap and stared out the window. Never reached for his phone, never sighed, never adjusted his position. At hour 3, he finally spoke. 1 sentence. Are you married? Yes. 12 years. He nodded, said nothing else. Hour 6, his 2nd sentence. Do your kids know you love them? Yes. Every day. He nodded, looked back out the window. The way he asked the question, not curious, not conversational, made my hands tighten on the wheel. He wasn't asking about my family. He was confirming something for himself, auditing the world he was about to leave to make sure there were people in it who had said the things he wished he had said. He wasn't crying, not agitated. He was still, the kind of stillness that comes when a person has stopped fighting. At 4 a.m., surrounded by empty fields with no buildings visible, he spoke his 3rd sentence. You can stop here. I kept driving. Pull over now. I kept driving. I will report you. You'll lose your account. Pull over. I'd rather lose my account than lose you. He stared. I stared at the road. Neither of us spoke for several minutes. I drove to the next 24-hour gas station, 12 miles away, a lit oasis in the middle of nothing. I parked under the brightest light, got out, walked around, opened his door. Then I sat down on the concrete curb right next to his feet. I don't know you, but the way you asked about my family, that wasn't conversation. That was a man saying goodbye and looking for proof that the thing he was about to do was the wrong thing. I'm not leaving you alone tonight. I'll listen if you want to talk. I'll sit here in silence if you don't. But I am not driving you anywhere except to a person who loves you. He looked down at me. His face didn't change for almost a full minute. Then it broke. He wept silently. The kind of weeping that doesn't make sound because the sound has been held in for too long. 10 minutes. I didn't speak. I didn't reach for him. When he could talk, he told me. He had spent 30 years building a company. He had just sold it for $80 million. The day after the sale closed, he discovered his wife had been having a multi-year affair with a man who bought it. They had planned the entire buyout together. The sale wasn't a triumph. It was a coordinated extraction. He had no children. His parents were gone. He had spent the last week organizing his affairs. The car ride was the final step. I asked if he had anyone. A sister. They hadn't spoken in 8 months over a disagreement that now seemed unimportant. He gave me her number. I called her at 5:17 a.m., told her where we were, told her to drive now. She arrived 2 hours later, walked directly to my car, opened the back door, and held him without saying a word. He paid me $1,800 in cash. She drove him home. 6 months later, an envelope arrived at my apartment. No return address, a handwritten letter, and a check. He was alive, divorced, in therapy. He had placed the $80 million into a foundation focused on crisis intervention for older men, the demographic with the highest suicide rate in the country and the lowest rate of seeking help. The check was for $50,000. I mailed it back with a note. Donate this to your foundation. The next life you save is all the thanks I need. A week later, his reply. Done. Her name is a 54-year-old mother of 2. She is alive today because of you. He named the foundation Hour 7.